I swear, I got the sauce. 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 I got the sauce.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the college coaches and high school football fans that follow the Spotlight podcast. My name is Anthony Williams. I am the co-founder and CEO of a company called Connected Athletics. We are using a technology platform to help high school, college, and pro athletes successfully transition through their different phases of playing and when they're not playing. We're coming up with a new product called RAWW, which is going to be a professional athletes network, networking platform and an app that's going to allow athletes to connect with each other in a more secure environment in our app, to create their communities, to interface with coaches for recruiting, to interface with potential NIL companies, and to utilize the network that we are of athletes all across the country who are looking to help each other out, make the most out of their athletic career and academic career. Before we get into that, I want to thank our sponsors, Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings has sponsored two schools in the San Antonio area, Judson High School being one, and then Warren High School being the other. Buffalo Wild Wings and their regional VP, Brian Soltis, is doing a great job in promoting student athletes to really control their brand and to tell their story and share their journey of who they are in their sport, and more importantly, who they are outside of their sport, because they are more than just an athlete. So I want to thank Brian and the Buffalo Wild Wings staff for supporting this podcast. So with all that said, I want to go ahead and introduce one of the more elite athletes in the class of 23, not just in Texas, but across the country. I have known and followed this young man literally since he was in 8th grade. He was a potential great prospect back in the day, and now he is an elite, one of the elite receivers in class of 23, which is loaded with athletes. Before I get into that, Anthony James is a class of 23 receiver athlete, could play a lot of positions, but he's great at athletes. He's out of Judson High School. He's got good size. He's an OU commit. I'm sure he was down at the recent Texas OU game this past week, and we'll talk about that. But Anthony is a tremendous young man from a great family and has done great things in that storied Judson program. I'm really looking forward to hearing him share his story with the fans out at OU, so you guys can get to know him and know what to expect from him, as he's going to be an early graduate, an early inductee into OU. And just for all the Texas high school football fans who will see him coming up as he finishes out his senior year and prepares the Judson Rockets to go into playoffs. Anthony, how you doing this evening?
What's going on? What's going on?
Nah, man, I'm looking forward to hearing you. I can't believe you're a senior already. That literally flew by. I remember covering you as a freshman and a sophomore, and now I just can't believe that you're graduating. But let's jump right to it here, Anthony. Let's talk first and foremost. You already know. I've got respect for Coach turning that program around and in the transition from Lincoln Riley. All students are watching. You're a student before you're an athlete. So talk about what's your GPA, and are you already taking care of your ACT and SAT? Just kind of give us a briefing on where you are academically.
Man, I'm an AB student. I've already taken care of all my SAT stuff.
Nice.
I'm just waiting for my time, January 14th, to enroll into college. So.
Okay. And so tell me let's talk about that, because that seems to be a trend these last, I'm going to say, trying to get in early to get transition and potentially have a role on that team their freshman year. What drove you and your family the decision to say, hey, let's graduate early and let's get up to Norman as soon as possible?
Really, it was hard for me when that decision came, because I'm a track athlete as well.
Yeah.
10-2 last year, and then got third in state in the 200 and 6A. So that was really hard for me, because I really wanted to come back, try to get that number one, title in the 200 as well, and probably the 100. So, yeah, it was kind of hard for me, but at the end of the day, football is my dream. It's my passion. It's what I want to do. So really just get into that program early and get to know the playbook and try to make an immediate impact as soon as I step foot on campus. So.
Did your family leave that up to you, or was this a decision that you kind of, met with your family and decided, hey, what are the pros, what are the cons, and this is how I led the decision? Was it mostly just your decision or a family decision?
It was definitely a family decision, but a little bit, kind of towards me as well. So.
Okay, good stuff. Let's go back a little bit. So you've been with the Judson Rockets program. There's been some changes there, obviously, but you guys seem to have turned things around. Give me a little briefing. Talk about your career at Judson High School. You've been an active contributor on the varsity program there, literally since you were a freshman. Talk about your time that you enjoyed at Judson High School.
Really, I enjoyed Judson High School much just because of the culture it is. The coaching staff is amazing. I love them. So they're just like family, as long as with the players. I've been playing with them, with a lot of them since I was in middle school. So we've all bonded, and it's just when we all click on all cylinders, we're just unstoppable. So.
Yeah, your head coach is a good friend of mine, somebody to respect, Coach Manny Soto. He's coming in his first year here, storied program. And Coach, tell me about your relationship with Coach Soto and what impact he's doing on changing the culture there at Judson High School in the football program.
I trust Coach Soto. I feel like he trusts me a lot on the field and off the field. I believe in him. He believes in me. So that relationship is definitely well. We just had a meeting yesterday, so just me and him. So that means a lot. He is turning the program. I feel like he's bringing back the old trends of what we were, what we used to, and what we lost with the previous head coaches, and he's bringing back those trends and that culture back. So I respect him a lot.
Oh, that's good to hear. Hey, talk a little bit about the importance of relationship between a player and this position coach in high school. Plays a big part. You're obviously an elite athlete, explosive, making plays for you, but also getting you ready to play each week as a Judson Rocket, but also kind of preparing you for that transition to OU. What's your relationship like with your position coach there?
With my position coach in high school or in college? In
high school, yes.
Okay, so really me and my position coach had that bond as soon as I stepped foot on campus. He put me on varsity track, and he's the head track coach as well. So I was on varsity track as well. So really that relationship was really built off rip as soon as I stepped foot on campus. So
yeah. I know one of the things that the OU coaches and many college coaches across the country, they love football, elite football prospects running or competing in track. You're not just competing, you're one of the top sprinters in the state. You just mentioned you won't be going back. Obviously, you won't be there for your senior year, but talk about your track experience. How has track helped you become at Judson?
Me personally, I feel like every athlete should run track, especially trying to play football. They really in the hand, explosiveness coming out the blocks is really true. That's what you really need in the football aspect as well. I am working on the process of trying to run track in college, so that's what I'm trying to do right
now. Nice. Okay.
And then the track season will get started. So.
Yeah. Well, Anthony, so obviously there are football players that run track, and there are track players that play football. And then there's that third bucket of players like yourself who understand how to apply the speed and quickness from track into football. I've watched you for the last 4 years, and I've seen you develop as a receiver. It's one thing to be fast, but it's one thing to be fast out of your cuts and in your routes and giving your quarterback big windows and then being explosive after the catch. Talk a little bit about how you built those skills to put yourself in position as one of the top receivers in the class.
Really, it was hard for me because I just recently started playing receiver my sophomore year. So I was really learning how to do that as well because I was a quarterback and running back. I didn't really have to stop on that like I do now. So really just getting with my trainers. They really helped me out a lot. I trained with RAWW Tyreek Hill this summer. He trains a lot of NFL dudes. So really a lot. We talk all the time. He sends me some videos and stuff like that and what I need to work on, what I need to practice on. So really he helps me out a lot. So.
Yeah, shout out to D-Rob. There's a lot of great work with the receivers all across the country, like you said, high school, college, and pro. Hearing that story now, because obviously you're an elite athlete, you play multiple positions. Tell me, give me 2 things you do now as a receiver that you weren't able to do when you were a sophomore. What does D-Rob and your coaches taught you about 2 things that separated you in the receiver class?
Really, like I said, stopping on the dime. My really different momentum in the routes. That's what's really key as a receiver. Being able to change up speed in the routes. That's what me and him have really worked on. And also, like I said, stopping on the dime. That's what I was struggling with. And drills that he does, and it helps me. So,
yeah. Anthony, I've seen your recruiting skyrocket since your sophomore year. I mean, everybody saw what kind of athlete you were, but I think when you locked in at receiver, it just even showed more that you were going to be an elite college prospect. You got offers from everywhere. I just saw recently you had an Oregon offer. Tell us why OU. What made you choose Norman? I've had a lot of players go up there; they love it, but I want to hear from your perspective. Out of all the schools that offered, what made you commit to Oklahoma?
Really the coaching staff. They made a push for me, and I felt like a priority when I went there.
Yeah.
And just Coach Venables, I love him. Like, once you really get to know him and know his backstory and what he does, it's just you can't move past it. So, I really love Coach Venables, Coach Levy. You know what he does on the offensive side. If you could just pull up his resume and what he did at Ole Miss, at UCF, and you know, that speaks for itself alone. And that's really it.
Yeah. So obviously, you know, it looked like from your timeline that you did go up to the big Red River rivalry last week. Obviously didn't go OU's way. Brent Venables still turning the program around. But what was that? Was that your first time at that game, or have you been down there before?
Oh, that was actually my first time.
And what was that like? I heard. I mean, my son played at Texas back in the day, and that is the most outstanding college environment of all college football. Tell me what your experience was like last Saturday.
So really, it was crazy, like, because they got the fair going on at the same time. There, the fans be arguing with each other before, like 2 hours before the game even starting. We getting our tickets and fans just going crazy on each other. The atmosphere, as soon as I walked in, one burnt orange and the other side is red. So it was just amazing. We were chanting Boomer sooner. The other side was chanting Texas Fight. Yeah. Yelling over each other. It was just a great experience, and I can't wait to play in it. So.
Yeah, you'll be in it next year. It won't be that long. We'll be talking about you having some big plays in that game. You know, OU's got a history, as you know, of putting out some great receivers, CeeDee Lamb and Devin Mims there right now. I mean, how do you see yourself fitting into this offense as a true freshman next fall?
I feel like I'll fit in perfectly, and that was another reason I committed. And with Jeff Lebby, I'm the type of dude he uses and like gets to the NFL, and that's what he proceeds in. So I feel like I'll fit perfectly with that offense, along with five-star quarterback Jackson Arnold. I feel like he'll be able to give me the ball effectively, and that's it.
Yeah, they got a very strong 23 class with you and Jackson and a few other guys. So that's going to be crazy. Tell us, Anthony. Let's talk a little bit about the future. What do you plan on majoring in when you get up to Norman?
I just figured that out when I was actually at Norman up there in Oklahoma. I was going to major in business, but I'll probably be doing like sports management or something like that.
Okay.
So,
all right. Yeah. You know, Anthony, you're obviously very talented. You'll have a solid career, I know, at OU, and probably be in a position to play at the next level. Tell me what you want your life to look like when football's over, whenever that is, whether it's after a 10-year career or it's after OU. You talked about, you know, sports management or business, but in 10 years, where do you see yourself outside of football?
I see myself probably, you know, first off, I just want to make my parents and my family proud. Yeah. And that's all. That's just what I want to do is have my kids, you know, feel like them. I want them to look up to me and be able to, you know, Google me and look their dad up and be able to see that dad was successful in the NFL, tell their friends I was successful in the NFL. And after I finish playing football, I kind of want to, you know, try to be like give back, like a coach or something like that. Like that. So, or
good stuff.
Physical therapist or something like I want to be something like to still help athletes, but my time. So.
Okay, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. Just talk a little bit about your family for the OU fans that are still getting to know you as a person. Tell us about your family, mom and dad. Were they former athletes? What do they do now? Are you an only child? Give us a little bit about the James family.
So my dad, he was in the military. I believe he retired at, I think, 24 years or something like that. Mm-hmm. So, and my mom, she was in the military as well. And I got 2 brothers, one that's 4, and I got a brother over in England playing pro soccer. So,
okay. There. So, which service were your parents at? Are you Army, Navy, Air Force? Which one?
I believe they're both in the Navy.
Okay. All right. My wife is a Navy brat. Okay. And then tell me, you mentioned you have an older sibling playing pro soccer. You got a younger one. Tell me about the importance you put on being the best big brother you can to your younger sibling.
Really just, because he just started playing football, I believe, like 3 weeks ago. So
Okay.
he looked at me as well. So, I'll be seeing him run around the house saying, Judson Rockets, like Rockets with the little football in his hand, scoring touchdowns. So that means a lot to me, and to continue to be a great role model for him and have him look up to me and try to do what I do. So,
every Saturday, Anthony, when I watch college football, I see Judson Rockets, making plays all over the country. Talk a little bit about the legacy of coming out of a talk program like that and being part of that alumni and having guys at both the college and the pro level now that you can reach out to, like, man, hey, I'm struggling a little bit here at OU, or I'm trying to figure out how to get to the NFL. What's that Judson tradition like for the alumni? Is that something you can tap into?
So the Judson tradition, they still come back and speak to us as well. So I feel like that's what Coach Soto does a great job of as well. He has like former players and stuff like that come back to speak to us and get our minds right and stuff like that. Even people who actually didn't make it in the NFL, such as like a Navy SEAL or something like that. Just people who are in the Army, they have like great messages to us every Thursday or Friday before the game, and they just talk to us and get our minds right. So
yeah, sweet. Well, hey, as we finish up here, Anthony, I don't know, when you first started getting recruited as a sophomore, I mean, obviously OU was still planning on being in the Big 12, and now they're going to be making the transition. Tell me what's your mindset as when you get into OU, they'll be making that transition to playing in the SEC. Are you excited about that? Tell us your thoughts on that.
I actually am excited about that. I feel like people are counting us out due to the year we're having this year, but they don't realize we have a top 3 class coming in just this year. So we're gonna make a run for it in the SEC as well. It's gonna have some adjusting to us, of course, but I feel like with Venables right there and Coach Levy and just that defensive staff as well, once they click on all cylinders and everybody gets used to each other, and Coach Venables gets in his classes that he's recruiting right now, I feel like we'll be back perfectly fine.
Yeah, well, I think people know Coach Venables had a lot of success as a very successful D coordinator at Clemson when they were playing and beating SEC teams. So I think you're on the right track there with OU as you guys prepare for the SEC. Anthony, let me ask you, you're a senior now. What would the senior Anthony James tell the freshman Anthony James now that you've learned about representing the Judson program the right way, both on the field, in practice, at school? What kind of advice would you give those younger Rockets who want to be where you're at when they're a senior?
Really just keep your composure, rather things are going your way and it's not. During the game as well, things are not always going to go your way. And when it doesn't, you just have to keep your composure and go out there and finish the game, rather you're winning or losing. Because at the end of the day, college coaches do not care about the win or loss. They care about how your attitude is, your grades, how you're playing as well, and how much of a leader you are. That's all that matters. So,
yeah. That's a great point. Hopefully those young Rockets and other players are listening to this. As you move into Norman and get ready to put on the SUNY uniform here coming up pretty soon, tell the OU fans, what can they expect? What kind of leader are you? What kind of competitive spirit do you have? What can they expect from Anthony James as a true freshman next year?
Really, I'm coming in to make an immediate impact at that receiver position. So really, the OU fans, they already know what it is. Speedster, field, 4-3, 10-2. That's really all I need to say. So, boomer.
Yeah. Okay. I like it. Looking forward to having you up there. Well, Anthony, man, thank you a lot. I know you got a big game this week. You're preparing, getting into district play and starting that run for the playoffs. Myself and Buffalo Wild Wings want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule with homework and your family and everything to share your story, man, because I think people need to understand that Anthony James, like many others, I'm more than just an athlete. I'm not just a great receiver, good person from a great family. I've got plans for life after football because football can come to an end one day. So thank you for sharing your story, man. I look forward to seeing you here pretty soon in the second half of the season and in the playoffs. If you ever need anything, man, just let me know. Reach out to me, and I'm there for you, okay?
I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, man. Have a good evening. We'll talk to you.
Yes, sir. You too later.
I swear, I got the sauce. I got the sauce. I got the sauce. I got the sauce. sauce. I got the sauce. I got the sauce. I got the sauce.